Divine Rods, blessed be to your day. May it be everything you require to create everything that you desire. Understand, healing is destructive. You are deserving, but you're not entitled. In a level of honesty to take you to the next level of your becoming is going to challenge what you thought you were entitled to. Speaking about that entitlement, I was thinking about it. Join me on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. Join me on TikTok. Links inside of the description of the video. We got into the catering to old perceptions versus grooming new perspectives. And one of the biggest things that I thought about with the catering to the comfort or that reaction was the things that we keep inside of our space, energy-wise, that goes into the physical, the mental, the emotional aspects we keep into our space, or we keep ourselves tapped into to give ourselves a false sense of this fabricated comfort. Remember, comfort is simply reaction. I'm always saying this all the time. I had to understand that comfort was simply reaction. As long as I can react to it, that means, use an example. If I could wake up and regardless if I was mad, happy, sad, whatever, when I wake up, as long as it don't matter what somebody does, as long as I'm able to react to it and I don't take a moment of assessment, I'm not taking accountability, I'm in comfort. I'm inside of my comfort zone. I am inside of my comfort zone. I've exposed myself to a certain level to fabricate everything else around me. I've fabricated my entire space to fit that narrative. I've fabricated this comfort zone based on maintaining the old perceptions, the investment into the old perceptions, my old actions, my old patterns. This is a trauma response when it comes into you doing this healing. There's a difference, and I talked about it. I talked about this piece. I talked about this in the video on TikTok today. The difference between catering to the perceptions versus that new behavior, versus that grooming that new perspective. The perspective can be added on and added on and added on, but first it has to be assessed. We talked about that on yesterday. A lot of times we're trying to add on without first breaking down. We're trying to add on without breaking shit down, without destroying, without the demo. You're trying to keep yourself a certain way without the demolition. That's why this healing becomes so destructive, because you have to face everything. This week in the God Hour podcast, we got into the aspects of results may vary. This is understanding that process of the known and the unknown. Your fear of the unknown. Your fear of the unknown, your darkness, the things that you're not dealing with, those are the structural supports. Those are the structural supports to the life that you have, that you're not healing from, that somebody's not healing from. Those are the roots to those perceptions. Everything that's inside of you, in that darkness, in that shadow, that's what you see as the result. We talked about this before. The results outside of you. That's what's giving you that false sense of comfort. Because comfort is simply reaction. I want you to understand this, Grand Rising. Comfort is simply reaction. That means as long as you can sit there and you can react to some shit, you're in comfort. As long as you can react, that reaction means you don't have to apply anything else different. You ain't got to apply nothing different. If somebody, like, give an example. If I wake up and I don't get no sleep. In my space, like somehow, like I don't get no sleep because people were loud downstairs, certain things of that narrative. I understand I can't control that. I can go have a conversation with them. have a conversation with them in that space. Be like, hey, I gotta be to work early in the AM. Like, can y'all like turn it down a little bit type shit? I can have that conversation. But my presence in that conversation, then I go from there. But it's different when, I'm not talking about that. That's something that's even in that space, you being emotionally present is how you learn how to deal with that situation. But I'm saying, you're sitting in your house right now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. You haven't been asleep. You got to be at work at 6 o'clock. You get to work and now you're complaining to everybody, yo, I didn't get no sleep last night. I ain't been sleeping the last couple of nights. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me working too much. Maybe you're thinking of all these ideas. But at no point in time are you looking at what you're doing throughout the day. You're not looking at the track record that leads up to you falling asleep. That's accountability. That's grooming the new perspective. Because if you look at your day, everything from what you ate, something as simple as looking at what you eat, what you're eating, what you're listening to, you probably done had some Red Bulls, you probably done took some nuts. You done all of these things up to before you go to bed. And now you're wondering why you can't sleep. Whose fault? You can't blame that. That's what it's like whenever you going out into this space and you trying to blame everybody else on your irritability, your irritation, your anger, your grouchiness. You're not taking care of you. You're not taking care of you. You keep falsifying or giving yourself this fabricated sense of comfort. I'm doing all of this work so I can, okay. What was the root to you doing that in the first place? See, there's a like the simplicity of you coming into a space with yourself of no matter where you are. I made a post yesterday, and I was like, home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I'm a homebody. That means wherever I go, I'm going to be the same individual. It took a lot of shedding of these layers to be able to be into this position of being able to say that. That no matter where I'm going, I'm sitting in this perspective. I'm sitting in my perspective. I'm not catering to the perceptions of others. Because that leaves me not being present to myself. That's what leaves you from not being relevant to yourself. You're sitting here saying, yo, I'm trying to get better in my life, but when are you going to take that? It goes into the aspect of once I understood that this internal work, shadow work, the healing, the internal work, facing your shadow, getting deep down, shedding those layers, the ego deaths, putting shit to rest, the dark nights of the soul. That's the consummation of whatever I had to put to rest. When I understood that was like top layer shit. That was only top layer shit. Like recent relationships or recent friendships or whatever it is, that's top level shit. All those voices and those thought forms, you got to consummate all of that first to take ownership over that. Like one of my favorite things to give out to my clients and give out to anybody that does work with me is I want you to forgive yourself. Can you, like every time I hear a conversation with people and they're talking about they're talking about a person, they're talking about their job, I always ask the same question. Can you thank them? Can you thank your job? Can you thank your ex? Can you thank your baby mother? Can you thank your baby father? Can you thank them? Can you thank your moms? Can you thank your pops? Can you thank whoever? Even if they've passed away, can you write a letter? Can you write up a petition to them and thanking them for what they did? Not from a space of this lack mentality or a victim complex. Can you thank them? Now, why would I thank them? You got some work to do. Because everything that you do, if you're not doing this work, is fabricating comfort. Every time I used to think about, I used to think how many times I was simply fabricating comfort. That's all I was doing every single day, fabricating comfort. The job was a fabrication of comfort. The relationships were a fabrication of comfort. I knew it was a fabrication of comfort because when something got too close, I had to fabricate a reason not to get too close inside of the space. My perception had to stay the same. I had to cater to the same perceptions. Think about that aspect, like the trauma bond. That means you get with a chick, you get her life together, and then now her life's together and she doing all right, but now she seems like she boring because now she ain't got that wildness to her. So now you find yourself picking up another chick. Or think about it with dudes. I saw a video today and was like, I saw a video today on my TikTok where I was uploading videos, and the dude was like, hey, chicks love bum niggas so they can stay in control of the relationship. When I thought about that, I was like, that is very well true. That is very well a true comment. When you think about it from that space, you're like, damn, that's true. When you think about the providing, the protecting, the aspect of not being nurtured and guided, creating that false narrative, that false comfort, it makes sense. You sitting there, we get stuck in, because we went into this last week, that aspect of priority and accountability are two sides of the same coin. Everywhere you're not taking priority in your life, you will notice that where you are not willing, you will create a responsibility or a false aspect, fabricating that comfort in that space based on the perception of what it would look like to you to be into that space. That's what I'm in that space. That's what it should look like. That's how it should react. That's how everybody should be inside of that space. So you just keep fabricating this idea into that space. You just keep fabricating into that space. So eventually I had to understand with myself, like, yo, like, I'm looking like this can't be life. It came to me this way. It was like, this can't be life. My job is not what I thought it was. The relationship is not what I thought it was. I feel like I'm being held back. I feel like I'm not going nowhere. Nobody's going nowhere in my life. Everybody's in the same space. I'm trying to go somewhere, trying to go places. I'm trying to evolve. I'm lying to myself. Simple, plain. I'm lying to myself. I'm fabricating this story to myself that I'm really doing some things, or I want to do some things, but when the chance comes up for me to do them or to start the process, I don't do it. I start, but the real reason that I want to do that is that emotional as that fabrication that I brought into my life in the first place. It was easy for me to say, hey, I want to go here and do this, this, and this, but that entitlement is what keeps you feeding or catering to the old perceptions. That entitlement is what leaves you feeding and catering to the old perception. You catering to that old cadence of perception. That same savior complex, think about it, it's a full circle, grand rising, great rising. It's a full circle effect. I give an example. I remember the first aspects of me going through the consciousness phase, becoming aware, becoming awake. And I remember getting information during this phase. And I remember going back to my parents' house or my parents' house, my mom's house, whoever was around, whoever would listen to me. And I go take this information to them. So I go like, hey, yeah, this is what I learned, da-da-da-da-da. Then it would get into the aspects of shadow work, certain aspects, whatever it was inside of that space. They would automatically look at me like I was retarded, crazy. See, man, you gotta go back to church. All these types of shit. But I needed that. I wanted that. Because this was the thing I had to be honest with myself with. If I truly applied without a sense of entitlement, that means I got this information. Ooh, yay, we black. That means it's ours. That means I ain't got to do nothing but go read it. And it's us. I'm still looking for something. See, as long as you're looking for it externally, you haven't learned how to apply that to the internal aspect. As long as I'm still looking for it externally, I'm going to find it externally, but I only can apply it to the level and degree that I went inside of myself. So by nature, I'm going to naturally be, hey, I got to go back. I ain't submit to the information yet. I'm not applying this information yet. So I'm mad at my mother because she don't want to listen. I'm mad at my sisters because they still, but I'm only telling on myself. It's only because I'm trying to cater to that perception. I'm trying to cater to them, their perception of me. I'm trying to keep that perception of me valid in their mind, so no matter how far I go, when I come back, they always see me a certain way. I wasn't ready to take on that change, because this is what happens when you're going deep into your work. Everybody wants to talk about the unity first. You got to be unity. We got to think about unity, brother. No. You must understand there must be a separation first. There must be the separation. There must be that space of separation. Before any integrating can take place, there must be separation. Because only in the separate state, in the duality of that space, do you actually get a chance to take the assessment. I can't assess things as their whole, because I only see it as the perception and the emotional projection behind it. That's how I see it. This is how I hear it. I'm entitled in that space with myself. But as I started to learn, like, there needs to be separation, I had to become cool with that. Because all I was trying to do was stay hooked up to the physical. So just like the same way that you found Shorty at church and she wouldn't shit, the nigga at church and he wouldn't shit, and then you turn around and coming into the space now, it's the same way you find the niggas in the conscious community that ain't shit. Women in the conscious community that ain't shit. It's because you ain't done the internal work. You still going around with the fabrications of comfort. You sitting there still got that sense of entitlement on the table. I tell people all the time, like, time doesn't matter. Age don't matter. Those are all points. For me, when I thought about age, when I thought about titles, when I thought about anything other than me doing the internal work, I realized that was a title. That title was based on entitlement. For me to sit here and be like, it don't matter what age that I am, because I've had conversations with people in their fucking teens, early 20s, late 20s, that have spit game that I was like, damn. I've had people in there, just like I've had people in there, older aspects in their damn 50s, 60s, and 70s give me game throughout my life. I've had people that come to me and be like, damn, you got the game. You got the juice now. I've had that same thing. So I had to remove that entitlement. Just because I'm at a certain space, I deserve something. If I'm not putting the work into that space, not putting the work into that process, then I don't deserve anything from there. I deserve exactly what I'm receiving from that space. If I'm not putting in the true aptitude of work in the reflection of myself, I don't deserve anything from that space. If something grows from a space, this goes into another, we're going to get deep into this on Friday. If something grows inside of a space, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to have it. I want you to really think about this. You've been in situations where things have came up and you felt that you had to keep it because of that narrative. But I gave someone a thought, and I wasn't thinking about the Travis Scott thing, but I was thinking about like the babies and stuff. And I was thinking about Bobby Hemmett when he said it. I much rather, honestly, with myself, to shift into a new perspective. Why would I, if I know what this is down here, if I know what this is down here, and I know the aptitude of energy that has to be put into that space, why would I, you feel me? I'm going to take ownership. That's one of the things that we're going to get deep into on Friday, but like, there's a level of ownership to your energy, to what you're doing, there's going to be things in your path that you're going to go through that have left a scar of regret on yourself and wait why you did it. But that thought that you had when you did it, that's what you have to own. That path you took while you did it, you have to own that path. See, a lot of times we don't want to own that path. Like, well, because we go through this thought process, if I get all of this stuff over here first, then I'll start doing that. That's how it works. That's not how it works. That's keeping the old perspective alive. That's a just in case. That's the plan B. I want you to think about this. Every time that you wake up and you say, when I get this, this, and this in order, before I heal myself, all you're doing is initiating a plan B. The pill. The thought process in the pill. That means no matter what you do, because this is the realest shit of that. It don't matter what the fuck you do. Nothing will be of the aptitude of the true level of success from the truest space of your heart, from the truest space of where you at, until you do that internal work. I don't care what you buy. I don't care what you go buy. I don't care about none of that shit. Because every time inside of your space, some of y'all right now, you going through some shit where you got a friend right now going through some hellified shit. And you feeling like you in a good space. That's letting you know where the fuck you at. I'm letting you know now. That's letting you know where the fuck you at. That just came through by the Spirit. That's letting you know where the fuck you at. You've been wasting your time in that aspect, and it just got read on that. You bullshitting with yourself. It's okay. Y'all looking at the shit with like everybody talking about the Astro and Travis Scott. That's so, oh my God, and it's satanic. It's once again, these actions, these rituals are simply to separate people. To let you, but it's not based on separation of what you thinking is separating. It's based on letting you know where everybody's really at. It's a time for a new perspective. It's letting you know where everybody's at. See, when you sitting in that space, that's how you get to be able to see and observe. It's showing you where everybody's at. Everybody talking about the satanic agenda and the same shit every time somebody dies. That new perspective is, nigga, I'm not reacting to that the way I used to. That's what you coming into now. It's like being able to look at use an example. It's like being able to, if an event happens to a family member for you right now or a friend, you only can do what you can do. This is the new perspective. You only can do what you can do. The moment that you say, I don't think I can do much, you put a value on, you put your old perception onto that process. That old, I never can do enough. I feel worthless. Because that's all you putting on. You're putting all that into that space. So you helping somebody, you being there for somebody, it got an ulterior motive. That's why in the next cycle after you do that, your intentions weren't clear, so now somebody comes into your space that has this is how you keep attracting the shit you attracted. Because you keep fabricating while you doing shit. That way, the why you doing that is what you ain't exploring. So then later on down, when something else attracts into your space, it matches that. Oh my God, but I'm a good person. I deserve. No, you don't. This is what's getting motherfuckers fucked up all the fucking time. That train of thought, that old perception, trying to maintain in this old. Why? That's what's fucking people up right now. You not submitting. You worried about exposure. You worried about somebody finding out the family secret. As long as that secret under wraps, you ain't going nowhere. You worried about somebody figuring out some shit. You worried about somebody figuring out the truth about some shit that you haven't dealt with. Okay, you won't heal. That will be a fracture left. And that energy is going to think about this from the aspects of children. You got kids. You got children. You got kids. You got family. Think about that narrative. The same shit that you went through emotionally, physically, mentally, in that space with yourself. Your kids are going to go through that same shit. Think about something that happened to you. I've said this before. Think about something that happened to you when you was 12 years old, 13 years old, 14, 8, 9, 8, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Think about that timestamp when something happened to you at that time. You have a child that's around this age right now. They're going to go through they're not going to go through the same thing, but they're going to go through the emotional equivalent. Let's say you were assaulted. Your child's going to go through the emotional equivalent to that assault. And since you ain't dealt with yours, then what? Lie to you? Lie to me? The lie to love me mentality that's what's coming up now. You're seeing those results now into the news and the press, the lie to love me bullshit that motherfuckers been stuck on. That's the shift. That's one of the shifts. That lie to love me mentality. If you love me, you'll lie to me. You'll tell me I look nice. You'll tell me I'm pretty. Ooh, tell me I'm pretty. Tell me I'm great, even though I know I'm not shit. Those are the mentalities those are the perceptions that have to be broken in order for you to do this work. Those are surface level shits. You learned the behavior from your dad and your mom were together for up teen years, but they were better off being single. They were better off separating. So now you're sitting there looking at all your friends that had two-parent households, and you're wishing that you could have did that, so that becomes your perception. So at all costs, that's what you're trying to do. But you ain't doing the groundwork. You're just expecting to show up, and it happened. Yeah, because I work and no, that ain't how it works. That's not how it works. You're only repeating the process. You're repeating the old process, the old sequence. The same way how your parents got together. This is how we just keep catering to the old perceptions. If you're not, that's why I always say this healing is very fucking destructive. Because if you're not willing to challenge to the core, if you're not willing to challenge to the core of the things that you haven't dealt with, you're not willing to go to that core in thought, then of course everything that's going to happen is going to be a repeat in some way, shape, or form. When it comes to you becoming the best version of yourself, and I mean this, when it comes to you becoming the best version of you, it's based on you facing those old ass perceptions, these old ass thought processes that you keep maintaining with yourself that keep you stuck. At the end of the day, there's nobody keeping you stuck. There's nobody holding you back other than your own lack of accountability, your own lack of taking responsibility, your own lack of facing yourself, the fact of you not listening to the shit that's challenging you. I listened to my intuition and it said that my parents weren't shit, or my man wasn't shit, or my woman wasn't shit. But now, 3 relationships later, you got a relationship. You done had a relationship with your mother in a relationship. You had a relationship with your father in a relationship. You had a relationship with your ex 6 times in every relationship. You keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, and you mad like, why my life ain't getting any better? Why is everybody in my life not shit? Why is everybody out to get me or against me? They're not against you. You're not learning the lesson. You still trying to fabricate this ideology about yourself of what you are. You still trying to maintain that ideology. You're still trying to maintain the myth. What do you think will be created inside of your space? Maintaining that myth. What do you think would keep? You can go to work every single day. Yep, you gotta change it. We say that all the time. Change the way that you change it. You're changing how you think to understand how you changing how you live. That process and that it changes everything. You're changing that narrative. You're changing that narrative. This week in the God Hour podcast, we got into that results may vary. We got into the 3, I do the 3 segments. If you ain't familiar with the God Hour podcast, this week's clarity reading was the 5 of Swords in reverse, the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Wands, 8 of Wands, what else? The 4 of Swords, the Sun, and the 10 of Cups. Y'all tune in, tune out. The links is all over my page for that. I desire you to be the fucking best. It don't matter how you start. All that matters is that you start. Understanding that today is the only day that matters. Understanding today is the only day that matters. Most of us do that shit unconsciously anyway, and you live in the same day over and over and over again. The only thing that changes is certain emotional variables to keep you guessing, to keep you reacting. But what if you really woke up and you could respond to your day? Really think about that. What if you really could wake up and just respond to your day? That true ownership mentality. You can wake the fuck up and be like, the same way you had that dream in your mind about, okay, wake up, or you think about, like, you see the movie, like, when the millionaire, he opened up his arms like this, and the blinds come open. That can be your mindset. That's visualization inside of your mindset with yourself. But you got to change these patterns, these sequences, in order for that new ground. That's what I'm saying. It's this new groundwork. You have everything that's in a reflection. You think about the metaverse. You thinking about the sacrifice. You thinking about all this shit going on right now. Everything is letting you know that it's time to put in your groundwork. It's time to accept where the fuck you at. Because until you do that, you only gonna keep seeing and receiving the same shit. There is no saving anything down here. It all gotta burn down in order for you to build. This shit's been tainted and you gotta burn it anyway to... What do you want to do? It's all on you. I just got amped this fuck. But I desire you to be the fucking best. I desire you to be the best. God Hour podcast out now. Everything from readings, consultations, furthering services. Hit me up in the inbox. Share the video. Join me on TikTok. Let's get deeper. You are deserving, but you're not entitled. Healing is destructive, and y'all might see me a little bit later today. Don't know yet. But I love you. We love us. Ashe.